So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Red River, 1948. U.S. Western film directed and produced by Howard Hawks. Forgot to put produced by Howard Hawks in the description box. I'm giving this 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was about the same as Rio Bravo. This one's got, this is a Criterion. Oops, it's upside down. This is a Criterion Collection Disc 1. And I don't know where Disc 2 is. Netflix doesn't offer Disc 2 anymore. So it's got a lot of bonus features. So it's got Peter Bogdanovic interview with Howard Hawks. Peter Bogdanovic interview with himself. He explains the 2 alternate endings quite well. I think I got the theatrical ending on Disc 1. Maybe Disc 2 has the original cut. I don't know. Howard Hawks kind of has mixed feelings about the original cut because he doesn't like the book reading aspect of it. But he does like the ending, which is kind of a ripoff on The Outlaw. Got him into legal trouble, but maybe I'll talk a little bit about that when I get down further. It's got a ton of familiar faces. Walter Brennan, Harry Carrey Jr., Montgomery, Clift, John Wayne, John Ireland. Anyways, it gives a fictional account of the first cattle drive from Texas to Kansas along the Chisholm Trail. Although John Wayne wanted it to go to Missouri for some reason. The dramatic tension stems from a growing feud over the management of the drive between the Texas rancher who initiated it, Wayne, and his adopted son, Clift. Upon its release, Red River was both a commercial and a critical success, and it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. In 1990, Red River was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Red River was selected by the American Film Institute as the 5th greatest Western of all time in the AFI's 10 top list in 2008. All right. It's based on the Chisholm Trail, 1946, a Saturday Evening Post by Borden Chase. Thomas Dunson wants to start a cattle ranch in Texas. That's John Wayne. Shortly after he begins his journey to Texas with his trial hand, Nadine Groot, played by Walter Brennan. What a name, Nadine Groot. Dunson learns that his love interest, Fenn, was killed in an Indian attack. How did he learn that? I don't remember that. I came later, I thought. Anyway, he told Fenn to stay behind with the California-bound wagon train with the understanding that he would send for her later. That night, Dunstan and Groot fended off an attack by natives. On the wrist of one, Dunstan finds a bracelet he had been left by his late mother, which he'd given to Fenn as he left the train. The next day, an orphan boy named Matthew Garth, played as a boy by Mickey Coon, later by Montgomery Clift, wanders into Dunstan and Groot's camp. He's the sole survivor of a wagon train, and Dunstan adopts him. That's a nice guy. John Wayne, but John Wayne is usually drunk and belligerent in this one, to the point where his men wanted to stage a mutiny. Anyways, Dunstan, Groot, and Matt enter Texas by crossing the Red River. They settle in deep South Texas near the Rio Grande. Dunstan names his spread the Red River D. His new spread, the Red River D, after his chosen cattle brand for his herd. He promises to add M for Matt to the brand once Matt has earned it. This one has I don't want to spoil the ending, but it has a surprise plot twist ending. I actually like the theatrical ending. I haven't seen the pre-release ending, but that's because I don't have disc 2, I'm guessing. Anyways, 14 years pass and Dunstan has a fully operational cattle ranch, but he is broke as a result of widespread poverty in the southern United States following the Civil War. Oh, I guess that's Ulysses Grant Reconstruction era. Thank Abraham Lincoln for starting widespread poverty in the southern United States. He decides to drive his massive herd hundreds of miles north to the railhead at Sedalia, Missouri, where he believes they will fetch a good price. After Dunstan hires men to help, including professional gunman Cherry Wallace, played by John Ireland, who, according to Howard Hawks, was smoking dope and boozing it up. The northward drive starts. Along the way, they encounter many troubles. One of the men, Bunk Keenely, raises a maudlin ruckus in one of the wagons, triggering a stampede. He knocks over a bunch of pots and pans. This leads to the death of Dan Latimer. When Dunstan attempts to whip Bunk as punishment for causing the stampede, the latter draws his gun. Yeah, this shows the brutality aspect of the John Wayne character. He says, "You better rest on a wagon wheel because I'm going to whip you." And he said, and the guy says, "No, you're not going to wet me." Bunk says, "No, you're not going to wet me." Here's the Roaring '20s. James Cagney. And so John Wayne proceeds to whip him in the eye. Matt shoots and wounds Bunk, probably saving his life because Dunstan certainly would have shot him to kill. Bunk is fired and sent home. Dunstan tells Matt that he is weak because he did not kill his man. Yeah, that comes back to haunt him in the end, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen the alternate ending, like I said. Continuing with the drive, Valance relates that the railroad has reached Abilene, Kansas, which is much closer than Sedalia. When Dunstan confirms that Valance had not actually seen the railroad, he ignores the rumor in favor of continuing to Missouri. He's hell-bent on going to Missouri, and he's going to kill Montgomery Clift. Dunstan's tyrannical leadership style, yeah, I guess you could say drunk and tyrannical, begins to affect the men with his shooting 3 drovers who try to quit the drive. After Dunstan announces he intends to lynch 2 men who stole supplies, tried to desert, and were captured by Valance, Matt rebels. With the support of the cowhands, he takes control of the herd in order to drive it into the Chisholm Trail to the hoped-for railroad in Abilene. Valance and Buster become his right-hand men. Dunstan curses Matt and promises to kill when they next meet. Another anticipation of the ending here. The drive turns toward Abilene, leaving Dunstan behind. He's not happy. On the way to Abilene, they just took his herd because of his drunk, tyrannical management style. Okay, on the way to Abilene, Man and his men repel an Indian attack on a wagon train made up of gamblers and dance hall girls. Oh, this is where the terrible actress comes in. Joanne Drew. This is not the actress that Howard Hawks wanted to hire. He wanted to hire a better actress, but he got stuck with this Joanne Drew because the better actress was Pregos. Anyway, one of the people they saved is Tess Millay. Joanne Drew, whoever that is. Boy, she's really bad. During the Peter Bogdanovich Howard Hawks interview, he's critiquing his own movie by telling him that he was stuck with Joanne Drew. She falls in love with Matt. They spend the night together, and he gives her Dunstan's mother's bracelet. They're kind of wet from some kind of drizzle rain or something. Kind of an interesting scene there. Anyways, eager to beat Dunstan to Abilene, he leaves early in the morning, the same way Dunstan had left his lady love with the wagon train 14 years before. Oh, woman scorned. Later, Tess encounters Dunstan, who had followed Matt's trail, and now sees her wearing his mother's bracelet. Weary and emotional, he tells Tess that he wants most of all of his son. He tells Tess what he wants most of all is his son. She offers to bear him one if he will abandon his pursuit of Matt. Dunstan sees in her anguish that Fenn had expressed when he left her and decides to resume the chase with Tess accompanying him. So we think that John Wayne is going to kill because he's stubborn, despite everything. When Matt reaches Abilene, he finds the town has been awaiting the arrival of such a herd to buy. He accepts an offer for the cattle and meets Tess again. I think it was $50,000 or $20 a head. You do the math. Anyways, the next morning, Dunstan arrives in Abilene with his posse. And like I said, I don't want to film the ending. Red River was filmed in 1946, copyrighted in 1947, but not released until September 30th, 1948. Footage from Red River was later incorporated into the opening montage of Wayne's last film, The Shootist, to illustrate the backstory of Wayne's character. The film was nominated for Academy Awards for Best Editing, Christian Nyby, Best Writing, Motion Picture Story, Born Chase. John Ford, who worked with Wayne on many films such as Stagecoach, The Searchers, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, was so impressed with Wayne's performance that he's reported said, "I didn't know the big son of a bee could act." I think that's alluded to on the bonus features also. I think I enjoyed the bonus features more than the movie itself. The film was shot in black and white rather than color because director Howard Hawks found Technicolor technology to be too garish for the realistic style desired. But in the interview, he regretted not using color. So that's kind of interesting. Second unit director Arthur Rawson was given credit in the opening title crawl as co-director. He shot parts of the cattle drive and some action sequences. So I don't know if I can't remember which scenes were shot by which directors, but pretty decent cinematography. I like the the official release ending, not the pre-release ending, because I haven't seen the pre-release ending. The film's ending differed from that of the original story. In Chase's original Saturday Evening Post story, published in 1946 as Blazing Guns on the Chisholm Trail, Valance shoots Dustin dead in Abilene, and Matt takes his body back to Texas to be buried at the ranch. Whoa. All right. During the production and while the film was being shot, Hawks was not satisfied with the editing and asked Christian Nimby to take over cutting duties. Nimby worked for about a year on the project. After production, the pre-release version was 133 minutes and included book-style transitions, which Howard Hawks didn't like. But he liked the ending that he came up with. This version was, even though it was a ripoff on The Outlaw, this version was briefly available for television in the 1970s, but it was believed to be lost. It was rediscovered after a long search as a Cinematheque Francaise 35 millimeter print and released by the Criterion Collection, presumably on disc 2. Before the film could be released, Howard Hughes sued Hawks, claiming this guy's a lucky lawsuit dude. Howard Hughes is the poster boy for tort reform, claiming that the climactic scene between Dunstan and Mask was too similar to the film The Outlaw, which both Hawks and Hughes had worked on. Oh, I didn't even know Hughes worked on, Hawks worked on The Outlaw. I'm going to have to update the description box. All right. So Hughes prepared a new 127-minute cut, which replaced the book inserts, which was a good thing, according to Hughes, with spoken narration by Walter Brennan. Nibbe salvaged the film by editing in some reaction shots, which resulted in the original theatrical version. This version was lost, and the 133-minute pre-release version was seen on television broadcasts and home video releases. The original theatrical cut was reassembled by Janus Films in cooperation with UA parent company MGM for their Criterion Collection Blu-ray DVD release on May 27, 2014. Film historian and director Peter Bogdanovic, the guy with the scarf to cover up his turkey neck, interviewed Hawks in 1972, and he was led to believe that the narrated theatrical version was the director's preferred cut. This view was upheld by Jeffrey O'Brien in his 2014 essay for the Criterion release. Contrarily, some, including Gerald Mist, argue that Hawks preferred the 133-minute version. I think it was a mixture of both. He preferred the original ending and the subsequent narration by Walter Brennan. That's what Bogdanovich said. However, when Bogdanovich interviewed Hawks, the director was 76 and in declining health. He was prone to telling tall tales. So it's kind of confusing, which one is better from the director's perspective. This movie was the last movie shown in the 1971 motion picture, The Last Picture Show. Roger Ebert considers it one of the greatest Western films of all time. I don't know, it was too long, and it it was over 2 hours. Oh, I got to tell you about my day yesterday. It was crazy. 2 hours, 10 minutes. I mean, come on. And what was the other problem with it? It was too long. And there was another problem I can't remember. Cattle ranching doesn't interest me in general, but that's just me. Bogdanovic likes to look at cows. That's his thing. He thinks cows are bunched together, thousands and thousands of cows, is a real beautiful sight, like a beautiful woman or something. I don't know what his deal is. The movie poster says, in 25 years, only 3. The covered wagon, Cimarron, and now Howard Hawks' Red River. Okay. Well, I think I went over this with a fine-tooth comb. Mostly reading off Wikipedia again, because that's the only way I can really dig deep into these movies. But tried to insert my own commentary. I didn't like the actress. I think that was another problem. The actress was terrible. I agree with Howard Hawks. He wasn't telling a tall tale on that that aspect of it. But anyways, yesterday I had to go to. I left here at 11:45 to get gas because the gas tanker was filling up the pumps the previous day, and I don't. What happens when the gas tanker fills up the pumps? It sucks gas out of your gas tank when you try to fill up. That's what my uncle told me when he worked for Arco. So I went back the following day, 11:45, got my gas. Notice my my tire pressure, the tire air pressure sensor went off again. It's been going off every 2 weeks. I fill up my right front tire, and then there's a slow leak, and 2 weeks later, it's down to like 20 after I fill it up to 40. So I have to go to my job interview. I try to fill it up with air at Chevron while I'm getting gas. And gas is down to like $5.35 a gallon or something. It went down a lot. I was surprised, but I grabbed a Jack Link's hot beef stick, which tasted pretty good. It wasn't that greasy, but it was decent. I just tried it. I'm not a big fan of Jack Link's, but I was kind of waiting. I got to the gas station early. I was kind of waiting to go to my job interview, so I just bought one. Then I tried to fill up my tire, which didn't do anything because I didn't have the air nozzle positioned correctly. So I go to my job interview. They want to hire me and do all this drug tests, alcohol tests, pee in a cup. And they want me to do a Federal Department of Transportation physical. They say it's going to take an hour. So the interview takes an hour. I'm going online, typing in all my information, signatures, blah, blah, blah. And they tell me that the training schedule is now 6 to 3 or 4, which is more reasonable. I can work. I can switch to part-time at my other employer if they ever approve my schedule change, which I submitted to them yesterday. And even if I get off at 4, I still have time to pick up my son on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in San Mateo at 4:30. That being said, I might be late for my new part-time job, which used to be full-time for 3 months, but I wasn't making enough money. My new job involves driving a bus for the 38 line, South San Francisco, Colma, and San Francisco. And they're going to train me for 3 weeks, and then I'll know what my new schedule is, at which time I have to change my schedule again at my other employer in Oakland. So that took about an hour, the interview. The lady was late coming back from lunch, but she hooked me up. Pays $23.50 an hour, but I'm sure that I'll get 10 or 20 hours of overtime, which is fine. That's even more than I'm getting from a current employer. So I take my car to Firestone, which isn't too far. It's like a couple miles away from my interview site. And they find a couple pins in my tire, very tiny pins. So I told him to fill it up to 40. He only filled it up to 24. Or no, he filled it up from like 20 to 32. I told him to fill it up to 40, otherwise the sensor light's going to go off again. I told him to mark the tire, and I confirmed with them that it's under warranty. I don't have to pay anything. So that took about another hour. We're looking at 3 o'clock, 2:45. That took about 45 minutes. Okay. So I'm not too far from the Concentra testing and physical exam site, the urgent care in South San Francisco. I used to work in the building right next to it. So I kind of remember going there for a drug test back in like 2016 or something. Anyways, I get there and they delay me for like 2 hours and 15 minutes. They said it was going to take an hour, but everything took 2 hours and 15 minutes. Somebody with a head injury ahead of me. So I was waiting in the room for the doctor arrived for like 45 minutes after waiting an hour to pee in a cup. And so it was taking a lot longer. I thought I was going to be late picking up my son yesterday, but I ended up picking him up at 5:30 in San Mateo. And then I come here, I'm working on laundry, I'm cooking him dinner. And I think I burned his noodles a little bit because I was just going nonstop. And this morning I finally got everything caught up. But let me go through my list because it's quite extensive. I added a bunch of Corman recommendations. And there's another guy or person. I don't know if it's a guy. Looks like a guy's name. He's telling me to review Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I've already seen and I hated it and I don't want to see it again. That would be torture. So I'm not doing that one. I'm not doing the Little Shop of Horrors director's cut because I can't find it on Netflix or YouTube. But he did put out a couple recommendations, so thank you for that. Let me see if I can pull up his name. I'm guessing it's a he. If I guess wrong, I apologize. And maybe we can go out on a date or something. Whatever happened to Audra Hando, by the way? She was like diehard fan of mine, and then she like her dad died, and I never saw her again or heard from her again. She was a catfish. Oh, the guy's name is Random Equals Funny. His avatar looks like a man's face, so that's how I'm guessing he's a man. But nowadays, you know, with the personal pronouns and everything, you could be a man, a vampire, or a toad. There's like 52 different classifications of sexual orientation or sexual identity. Sex classification. Okay, so I started watching the Italian collection Manhunt, which is all one word on YouTube, but it's separated on the compilation Italian Gangster DVD that I saw 4 years ago, and I reviewed Manhunt. I got the year wrong, I think, because I put 1975 on my video. But while I was watching the chubby Italian guy with the hirsute sideburns, giving money to his ex-wife for his little daughter, I thought these scenes look familiar. The scene with Woody Strode and Henry Silva sitting in that room with that old guy putting out a hit on the fat hirsute sideburns again. That started to ring bells in my head. I've seen this. I've reviewed it. So I finally found it on my channel, and I'm not going to review it again. I'm going to skip over it. But the YouTube version does have a bunch of interviews with a bunch of actors from that genre. All right, so here's my updated list, and it's long. I've added a lot of stuff since my last video. Track of the Moon Beast. I think that's 1976. Tormented, 1960. Mackenzie's Island, 1998. Blonde Savage, 1947. Programmed to Kill, 1987. Frogtown 2, aka Return to Frogtown. The Wasp Woman, 1959. Jack London, 1943. The Monster of Pedrius Biancus, 1959. The Crawling Hand, 1963. Invasion of the Animal People, 1959. The Jungle, 1952. One Body Too Many, 1944. Blood Warriors, 1993. Screaming Tiger, 1973. The Wild World of Batwoman, 1966. Queen of the Amazons, 1947. Hell Up in Harlem, 1973. Snow Beast, 1977. Platoon Leader, 1988. The Reluctant Carpenter TV, Sherlock Holmes TV, episode 21, 1955. Mercenary Fighters, 1988. And The Buckskin Lady, 1957. That's my very long list. Sorry for the 34-minute video. If you made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. Now grab yourself a beer, sit back and relax, and wait for me to do my next review. Laters.